Today we're going to be talking about control, but more specifically, we're going to be talking about proximity, which largely dictates control. As you can see, our capital is sitting at 100% proximity from itself because obviously it is the capital. Whereas the further we go from the capital, the less proximity we have. And proximity dictates control. At 100% proximity, we have nearly 100% or sometimes even actually 100% control. Proximity at its maximum stat of 100% provides 70% control just by default, without even taking into account other factors. So spreading control to as many provinces as possible is a very good idea. But as you can see with this example of Castile, control barely spreads outside of the core zone, and there's not much you can do to fix this. You would say, well, surely build roads. But Castile starts with roads built, and as you can see, these roads, despite connecting all the way from the capital to the bottoms of the country, don't spread the control very far outside the capital. This is a long-term problem, but today we're going to talk about a building called Bailiffs and its use. The Bailiff is a somewhat hidden building. You might not even know it exists, due to the fact that it doesn't actually show up in the UI when you click on a province. Because a bailiff is a military building. So if you wanted to build one, you need to go to the production tab and then to the soldiers buildings, and there you can see the bailiff. So the bailiff does two things. It, first of all, increases the noble power in the province by 100%, which is arguably a bad thing. But its second thing it does is it increases the local proximity source by 20%. To put it simply, a bailiff will increase a province's proximity by 20% in whatever province you build it in. Let's use an example. Down in the south of the country, you have this province of Constantinia. This province has a potential tax base of 5 ducats. We are only getting 1 ducat due to the low proximity and low control, giving us only 16% control in the province, meaning we're only getting 1 of that ducat. So let's build a bailiff here. So the bailiff is finished. You'll see from looking that currently the bailiff does nothing. That is because bailiffs are military buildings, as talked about, and require soldiers. It's currently be sitting at 0 employment when it's first built. But you don't need to worry. As time passes, the peasants in the province will promote into soldiers and the bailiff will come online. As you can see, our bailiff is now finished and is at maximum capacity. It is now increasing the proximity in the province by 20%, which gives a knock-on effect of giving us max 15 control in the province, pushing our control up to 32% from where it was sitting at less than 20%, which in turn has a knock-on effect of increasing the income of the province. You'll see the income of the province has increased on its own since when we started, just because the goods value has gone up, but we're now getting a higher percentage of that good. We are now getting 27% of that tax, which is now being distributed to our estates, which we are then getting tax from. So as you can see, bailiffs can be very useful when placed in provinces with high tax bases that are too far from your capital to benefit from roads. As you can also see, bailiffs have a little bit of a knock-on effect, where some provinces around them receive some proximity to the bailiff, and therefore their control increases. Unfortunately, bailiffs themselves aren't always enough to counteract the negative effects of distance. Building roads together with your bailiffs to connect provinces to bailiffed provinces can have further benefits of decreasing the distance not from the capital, but from the bailiff. Now, should you go building bailiffs everywhere? No. Not just because they cost money, of course, and they increase the noble's power, but usually, unless a province has a lot of money in it, it's not really going to get much return from increasing control. You shouldn't really worry about increasing control in every single province. Only the ones that really matter. Finding a province with a high-value consumer good and investing in that consumer good to then gain those taxes. For example, gold and silver are very obvious provinces which benefit very highly from bailiffs, as you simply want to get as much of that good as possible and as much money as possible from that good. So even a slight increase of the 15% from having a bailiff built in the province can be a big boon to your economy, especially once these goods start to really skyrocket in value. Here is an example. I have now fully upgraded this province's RGOs to the max level of 9. This province is now the potential tax base of 24 ducats. We are getting 7 of those ducats due to our current control. Let's say we demolish our bailiff right now, and we'll see the effect of removing it. As you can see, without the bailiff, control is slowly decreasing, and as it decreases, so does the tax base that we are receiving from this province. It's slowly slipping down into 6s, and it will likely hit even less than 5 ducats once we hit our lowest point of control, which is now only 17 without the bailiff. So, how should you use bailiffs? You should look for valuable RGO provinces that are too far from your capital to really connect with roads, and then invest in a bailiff together with other things to increase that province's value. Provinces like silver and gold are good to be mixed with bailiffs. One of the negatives of a bailiff, though, is that you cannot build it in a city. You can potentially build a bailiff next to a city in order to increase control in that city, but building multiple bailiffs around a city won't have an effect. They won't stack. One bailiff is one bailiff. The city will connect to the nearest, closest bailiff and receive the benefit from it. Multiple bailiffs will do nothing, essentially. In conclusion, bailiffs are good, and build bailiffs. Don't be afraid of the slight increase to noble power they provide. Nobles already have lots of power anyway. It's better to get that money that you can then tax from the nobles. You can always demolish a bailiff at a later date if you're able to increase control, or if you no longer acquire the income from that province. Right, thank you for watching. I believe that's everything I wanted to say about bailiffs. Is there something I've missed or something I got wrong? I don't think there is, but I'd be very much like you to tell me if so. Do you have a secret strategy involving bailiffs, or maybe something better than bailiffs? If so, don't hesitate to let me know. I'd love to hear it. Thank you again for watching, and see you next time.